What is up, guys? Welcome to my review for Supergirl Season 4, Episode 8, titled Bunker Hill. So this episode is effectively the mid-season finale of Supergirl Season 4 because of the crossover that is happening this year is actually airing on the 9th episode of every show. That is Supergirl, The Flash, and Arrow. Episode 8 of these shows is effectively the mid-season finale. So this week is the mid-season finale week, and as for this episode as the mid-season finale, it's easily on the weaker side of mid-season finales, not because it did anything horribly wrong. I wouldn't say there's anything I hate in this episode, but just because as a mid-season finale, it doesn't feel that eventful. And maybe that's just because it's technically maybe not a mid-season finale because it's episode 8. It's not even the last episode in the season, so maybe I'm just calling it a mid-season finale even though it's not. But it is the last episode in this storyline with Agent Liberty and everything to do with Supergirl Season 4 of the year for like a month and a half. So it is technically the mid-season finale, and again, as a mid-season finale, it doesn't really do an incredible job at that. Most mid-season finales in the Arrowverse focus on the main villain. It gives them some sort of twist or development. They're just basically a major character in the episode, and they develop as a character. So this episode is no exception. Agent Liberty is a big part of the episode. The whole thing was that Manchester Black wanted revenge for Agent Liberty killing his fiancée, and he got it in this episode, or he attempted to get it in this episode. The reason I think this was bad, and I say really, really bad for the character of Agent Liberty, is because Manchester Black, a recurring anti-hero at this point, he's not even a villain yet, he's just an anti-hero, and he's a recurring character, was able to completely obliterate Agent Liberty without even trying. Like, Agent Liberty can't stand up to Manchester Black in a fight, and I get that Agent Liberty is less of a fighting villain and more of a political villain, but one, I argue that he shouldn't have been a political villain at all. It just doesn't work for this show. The show doesn't have the nuance to pull off a political villain, especially when it puts them in scenarios like this where they're completely outmatched by a recurring character who could just kill them whenever he wants. It doesn't work. Agent Liberty just feels less menacing, less threatening in this episode, and his whole storyline was ended in this episode. Yes, you have the Children of Liberty still out there, but it's just them. Agent Liberty was unmasked, and he was put in jail. He can't really do anything more after this. His only effect after this was Kara Danvers has to unmask herself to the world, or mask herself with her glasses, I guess, which doesn't make sense anyway. But Agent Liberty, completely less menacing, less threatening after this episode. I still think the actor is good in these episodes, but after this episode, with Manchester Black being able to really get an upper hand on him without even trying, and Agent Liberty just can't fight back, it makes him a worse villain. And on top of that, Agent Liberty was not actually the main focus of the episode. The main focus has to do with Nia Null becoming a dreamer. One thing that was confirmed in this episode was that Nia Null is an original character. I just thought that they renamed the character from Nura to Nia, and now Nia is an original character, which I don't understand. I don't understand why they do these things. You have Nura right there, and Brainy knows her. She could just come back to the present day. I don't understand. It makes no sense, too. How could Nia actually have a descendant? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But Nura Null herself, I never liked her either. I thought her powers were stupid. I thought that the fact that you could see in the future, that's fine and all, but the fact that that would entail going out in the field with a costume, it made absolutely no sense to me. That was kind of explained in this episode when Nia used those powers to dodge a bullet, but I don't see how that could be used like in every single episode, and I feel like that would just be some sort of plot device that would not be used well at all. So yes, I don't like Nura in the comics, but I also would have preferred they use the actual comic book character instead of coming up with an ancestor who is technically an original character. It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. In terms of the actual origin story, I don't think I've ever been less interested in a superhero origin story in the Arrowverse before. I think a part of that is because Nia's powers are so boring. I just can't see those powers being used in everyday situations, in fight scenes, or not everyday situations, just everyday superhero situations. I can't see it. I can't see that turning out well. Other than that, I don't really have much of an opinion on the origin story whatsoever. Like, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like it either. It's just neutral for me, which is odd because there's really nothing in the Arrowverse that ever happens that's completely neutral. Either I like something, I love it, I dislike it, I hate it, but for this, it's just completely neutral. I just couldn't care less about this whole thing. The best part of this whole origin story was Brainy's reactions to everything. He's really funny. Outside of that, I honestly could not care less about any of it. So the big mid-season finale twist at the end of this episode that will be resolved most likely in January, which is in a while, is that Supergirl needs to reveal her identity to the public. If not, she doesn't work for the DEO anymore, and I guess the DEO will start fighting Supergirl, which I think is interesting. The DEO fighting Supergirl, like, that could be an interesting thing, like the conflict between Supergirl and the DEO, and between Supergirl and Alex. That could turn out well, or Alex resigns or something and Colonel Haley takes over. I don't know, but the actual reveal that she needs to reveal her identity to the world, and if she doesn't, she has to quit the DEO or resign. So I do have a couple questions about that. First of all, and this goes for Superman 2, how does she still have a secret identity? And I mean, you look back at an invasion, the government knew about the Flash's secret identity. It's not really a secret anymore to government officials. And then you have here with Supergirl, she doesn't even wear a mask. It really doesn't make any sense that she has a secret identity whatsoever. Second thing is that, does she actually work for the DEO? I'm pretty sure she just helps them out and just aids them because they need the aid. And thirdly, I thought that everyone in the DEO, including Colonel Haley and including the president, knew her identity already. They always talk about her so casually. They just call her Kara all the time in the DEO. I actually thought that everybody who works at the DEO, including the president also, knew her identity. They never actually said that, but they just implied it in every single episode, and it seems like the writers behind the show, everyone behind the show, completely forgot about that, and now it seems like nobody at the DEO knows her identity. The president doesn't know her identity, and nobody in the government knows her identity, even though on Earth 1, everybody knows the Flash's identity, which is a way better kept identity than Supergirl's. And Superman 2, this isn't only Supergirl problem, Superman has this problem too, but it just does not make sense with this twist that she needs to reveal her identity. It doesn't make sense for all those reasons, and originally I did think I did like that thing at the end. Like, I did like when the president said you have to reveal your identity, and then she left. I did like that, but when I think about it, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I know I've been saying this episode is not very good, and the reason for that is because, well, it isn't, but there is this one scene at the end of the episode which I feel like was created by completely different people, and it probably was, and just tacked on to the rest of the episode, and that is the Elseworlds end credit scene setting up Elseworlds, which I thought was by far the best part of this episode, maybe the only good part of the episode. Like, this was a great scene. I will be making a completely separate video on this scene alone, and I'm going to break it down just because it is an Elseworlds tease. I did like the fact that they added this end credit scene to the episode. It is the best part of the episode. It doesn't redeem the episode whatsoever because, like I said, it feels like it was created separately and just tacked on. I will still include it in the overall score. It did make the episode that much better, but it doesn't really save the episode from being a pretty mediocre episode where nothing great happens. In conclusion, while Brainy was especially funny in this episode and the end credit scene was really good, Agent Liberty was undermined as a villain in this episode, and Nia Nal's origin story was completely and utterly uninteresting, and the fact that Kara has to reveal her identity to the public and to the president does not make any sense whatsoever. So I will give Bunker Hill a 5.8 out of 10. It is a very mediocre, uninteresting episode with a great end credit scene and some funny moments. So anyway, that is the review. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and stay tuned for my breakdown of the Elseworlds teaser. So let me know all your thoughts, and if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.